Good morning, Quadcopter 101, and before we get started, let's get today's shout out of the way. Today's shout out goes to Lirio LeBron. Lirio was first to say first in one of my recent videos and thus wins this shout out, so congratulations. Good morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and I have a review of a neat new drone for you today. This is the tiny GT8 Micro Whoop Racer. Looking at it, it comes in a nice carrying case, as you can see here. This is very similar to what I've reviewed previously, which was the tiny GT7, except it's in a much bigger package as compared to the little tiny GT7. Now, its motors, I think, are a little more powerful than the GT7 motors, so we should see a little more oomph out of this, hopefully, out in the field. The GT7, I was noticing, just didn't have a lot of oomph, for acceleration, for doing racing or freestyling. Hopefully this one will have a little more power than this. This one is more for beginner flyers who wish to learn to fly FPV acro. This one I'm hoping would be much better in terms of performance, flight performance, as compared to the GT7, but we'll see. Let's go over what you get in the box. And I normally don't do unboxings, but I'm doing one for this because this comes with a nice box. So you get the drone. Let's put the drone over here. You get a 380 milliamp hour 2S battery. Now, notice on this battery, you only get a balance lead. You don't get the main power lead from the battery. So that creates an issue in regards to charging, especially if you want to use like a B6 charger that requires to have both balance lead and power lead to be plugged into the charging port. But I'll show you how LDARC got around that here shortly. It's pretty ingenious, actually. So let's pull off the top here and I'll show you what you get in the box. You get spare props. You get two sets of spare props. Notice they are red spare props as compared to the props that you get on the drone itself, which are black. So if you need to change props, you're going to need to change the color of the props too. So let's move this up here so you can see it. What else do you get in the package? You get a data cable. Now this is for plugging the drone into beta flight with. If you notice on the front of the drone, you'll have a micro USB port up in the front here. This is so you can plug this cable into your computer, open up beta flight, and make adjustments as desired to the drone through beta flight or whatever flight control program that you wish to use. You get a nice set of screws here. These are for both the motor mounts and also for the propeller screws. So I think they're using the same type of screw on both. I can't verify that because I haven't taken these screws out to verify that. But I believe they are. No, they're not. They're two different sizes. So if you look closely, you get a longer set of screws and a shorter set of screws. I'm assuming the shorter set of screws are for the propellers and the longer set of screws are for the motors. So you do get screws for both, spare sets of screws for both the motors and the propellers. What else do you get? You get an instruction manual showing you how to set this up, and it comes in Chinese, and that's Chinese, and English, and the others. So it's just English and Chinese instruction manual. So you do get that. You get a nice set of stickers if you want to customize the drone, make it look pretty for your races. So you get instruction manual for the receiver. Now this comes with an AC900 receiver, which is both Futaba and Frsky. It can power or use both Futaba and Frsky transmitters with that receiver. This also comes available in Bind and Fly in both Flysky and also DSM2. So keep that in mind too, folks. And for the Frsky, I believe it's both D8, D16, switchable, selectable. So now this is the important one that I wanted to mention. This little cable here that goes with that battery. Okay. Now most nice B6 style chargers. Let's bring one over here. Here's my B6 charger. Require both plugging in the balance plug, the balance lead, and also the power lead into the battery. Now the balance lead is used to monitor the voltage from the battery, and the power lead is where the actual juice goes into the battery to charge it. The way that they've gotten around it with this particular battery, and I think the reason they got rid of the power lead is they want to lower the weight of the battery, and also to get those cables out of the way. They don't want cables going in. A lot of times cables can get into these rotors, and that creates a problem. So this will lessen the chance of that happening. Now, the way to charge this battery with a B6 style charger is to take this splitter and plug it in like so into this port here, the balance plug into this port, and then plug this balance plug into the balance port of the B6 charger. And then take the red GST connector, and you're going to need a red GST connector adapter for your B6 if you don't already have one to do this, but you take it like so and then plug it in like so, and then you have the two leads. Again, this lead is where the charging current goes to the battery. It's going through the balance plug, and the balance plug is able to monitor the voltage of the two cells so that the B6 charger is happy and doesn't say that you have a disconnect. You don't have a complete connection. Now, those of you that don't have a B6 charger that are interested in this, now this is another style charger that I got that I use quite a bit, and I've had this quite a few years, is this B6-4S15D. It's also known as Charsoon, CHARSOON B6-4S charger. This does not require two leads. This can charge both 2S, 3S, and 4S batteries through the balance port only. You don't need that second port lead. It's also a very inexpensive charger. I've used this quite a bit, folks. I've had this since I've had the V383. Remember my old review from probably 4 years ago? I still have this charger and still have been using it, so it's a good charger. Okay, let's talk about the quadcopter itself now. Hold on, let me clear this out and we'll talk about the quadcopter. Okay, this is the drone, the LDARC, also known as Kingkong GT8. It is 88 millimeters in distance between the motors from there to there. It has an 800 TV line camera on the front here with a 150-degree field of view that is also NTSC. That makes syncing up this video with my other videos very easy because it's 30 frames per second NTSC. Now, there's one thing I don't like about this camera, in that it has a fixed pitch of about, I'd say, 5 to 10 degrees up. Very, very small amount of upward pitch. What does that do? Well, that creates problems if you want to do high-speed flying when you need to really pitch down the drone. You're going to be looking at the ground. So that's going to limit the speed that you can fly this drone safely, that small amount of angle there. With that amount of angle, I'm guessing that this is mainly intended for low-speed FPV flying, not high speed. But we're going to try it outdoors anyways today, so we'll see how well this actually performs outdoors. Now, it also comes with a 25 milliwatt, 16-channel FPV transmitter with built-in OSD system, on-screen display. Now, that on-screen display is not the best in the world. It's very basic. You get basic information, though, that you need, such as battery power and flight time. Those are the main things you're going to want to see on that on-screen display. Other than that, it's not nowhere near as good as like the Betaflight Smart Audio style on-screen displays that you can modify in Betaflight and also through Smart Audio. I'm wishing that this had that, but it doesn't. So, that's becoming kind of standard, that type of OSD. But you still get an OSD, but it's very rudimentary. Now, to activate that OSD, if you want to modify it, you hold down this button here. This is the button that controls the transmitter. If you want to change frequency channels and frequency bands and channels, you press this button here or hold it down for a few seconds to change the bands, and quick press to change the frequencies within those bands. But if you want to change the on-screen display, you got to hold this button down while simultaneously powering or plugging in the battery to the drone, and that will bring up the menus to change the on-screen display. You can change things like your name. That's the big one that you're going to change, and turn things on and off like battery power. I don't know why you'd want to turn that off, but you can also set it to 2S, 4S, different size batteries. Again, this one's 2S and it's already set up, so you really don't need to go in that menu at all. So I recommend leaving it alone, to tell you the truth. What else do you get? You get a Seriously Pro Racing F3 flight control board installed below the video transmitter. There's your flight control board there. It's loaded up with Betaflight 3.4.1 dated 2 August 2018. You also get XT0804 7500 KV motors, brushless KV motors with ball bearings. So these should be durable. I'm hoping they'll be durable. Again, that in combination with this durable plastic that surrounds the drone, the propeller guards, this very tough plastic, should provide good protection for this drone. Should make this drone somewhat durable. Again, mainly for beginner flyers, I'm thinking. Beginner FPV flyers, not total beginners. I wouldn't. If you're a brand new pilot, I would not recommend getting this. Okay. I would recommend getting a cheap $12, $14 drone. Learn the basics, especially throttle management, before stepping up to this type of drone. This would be your next step after you learn the basics of flight. Okay, other things on this drone. It has 10 amp BL Heli ESCs installed in the flight control board. Again, we're powered by a 7.4 volt, 380 milliampere hour battery. And again, this is available PNP Frsky and Futaba via this AC900 receiver, which is right there. Also available in Flysky version and also DSM2. And also PNP, if you want to install your own transmitter, it's also available in PNP. So let's go for a flight of this thing, see how it performs. Hope you enjoy this flight. Okay, we're going to start off with line of sight flight of the GT8. The way I set this up in beta flight is all the way up and center position are disarmed, all the way down is armed. If you notice, the motors start up and armed, even though we're in angle mode. This will be set to angle, horizon, and all the way down is acro mode. And arming the motors in angle mode. And taking off, and let's see what we got here. First thing I want to see is the punch. Not too bad. I've seen punchier, but not too bad at all. Actually very stable in angle mode, as you can see here. Flies very nicely at angle. Let's try that horizon mode. Let's bring it in. Go into horizon. Is it stabilized? Yeah, it's stabilized. So with horizon mode, we can go up and do that. Bring it down. We can do that there too. Does flips very nicely. So in angle mode, you can do things like that, folks. Going back to not angle mode, that was horizon mode. Horizon lets you flip it. Well, I still got some battery power left on this. We're going to do acro flying with this, and then I'm going to switch to a different battery. So hold on. Let's bring it in for a landing. And put it on the pad. See how good I can put it on the pad. Not good enough. Okay, disarmed. And I'm going to put the hat on my wife's head, and we will go into acro flying. So hold on, folks. How you like my shirt today, folks? Okay, here we go. I'm going to be using my VRD2 goggles. Again, I ran over my FXT goggles. I'm so heartbroken about that. But these will work. Okay, let's see. Go into acro. Acro is set. We still got 3.87 volts, as you can see on the OSD. Arming the motors and take it to the air. Now, let's see what we can do with it. Okay, I'm going to fly slowly first to get a feel for it. I'm noticing right now that, again, that camera angle is not the best angle in the world for this. Let's go up and up, and then try a roll. Roll works well, coming down. Trying to go, let's see how fast we can go with this thing with that camera angle like that. Coming by us. Now I'm seeing a lot of ground here, as you can see too. Coming around the other way. Lots of ground. Let's try going through the trees in acro. Not too hard. As with the GT7, the PIDs for this are set up rather nicely. Oops, hit the ground a bit. They're set up rather nicely, very gentle. So you can do things like that in acro. Let's come back down again. Let's try that again. Going through that tree there. There we go. No problem at all. Yeah, let's come by us. Now I'm getting low battery warning already. 3.4 volts. That's not, I'm not going to quit just yet. Going up again one more time. Trying that.
Forward flip. Okay, so saying 3.34 volts, go back up to 3.42. Again, I'm flying acro, and it's actually a very stable flyer at acro. You can do things like that. Going overhead, not too shabby at all. Now again, this is not a super high-speed racer like the Mobula. Little Mobula, man, it really is a little rocket. This one though, because you can't tilt up that camera. This could be a high-speed racer if you could tilt up that camera, but unfortunately you can't. So that limits what you can do with this. To this, going through the trees. But again, very nicely tuned for the PIDs. They're very gentle, very stable, very good to learn to fly with, learn to fly acro with, just like the GT7. The PIDs are very nicely done. Okay, I'm going to call it quits here, folks, because I think that battery is getting weak now. Disarming. I think the battery came loose too on that impact. Okay, I have a second battery. Let me throw the second battery in. We're going to continue flights with the second battery that I got from the GT7. By the way, the GT7 uses the exact same battery, so I can do that. They use both the exact same 380 milliamp hour battery. So let me pop one in there. We'll go for a second flight. Hold on, folks. Okay, second flight using the second battery that I got from my GT7. I'm going to acro and arming 4.14 volts starting out with. Let's go around the pole. Let's try to get some speed in this flight. High speed flying. I gotta pitch that nose all the way down. I don't like doing that. But let's try that. Okay, what I'm going to do now with this battery here is I want to do slaloming through these trees. Let's see if we can do that in acro. In acro, going through the trees. Apparently not. Oh, there we go again. Coming through. Let's try that again one more time. A little bit slower. Coming down through these trees. We're over here somewhere. There we are. Just taking my time this time. Again, you know, this is pretty tight, or pretty strong for crashes, so I'm not too worried about breaking this thing. But again, it's not really punchy, super punchy, but you can still do things with it. Let me try to get some speed on it again. I'm going to do another high-speed run by us. Seeing lots of ground. That's top speed, folks. Coming by again. Going through the trees. Slalom through there. Slalom through there. Going around there. Oh, losing some signal there. Over there. Yeah, the signal's getting better. High speed going by. But yeah, there are faster drones than this, but those drones aren't as nicely tuned as this for beginners to learn to fly acro. No, I'm not talking about beginner flyers again. When I say beginners, I mean beginners to FPV. Wanting to learn FPV, this is a very good racer for learning FPV. You're not going to be going super fast. You're not going to be doing super punchy things, but you can still do things. So you can still do rolls and flips as desired. But they're just not super punchy. Now that's not to say you cannot go into beta flight and up the rates to make this more punchy if you wish, or more responsive if you wish. You can do such things. But if you're a new flyer, I don't recommend doing that. A new FPV flyer, because the stock PIDs are perfect for learning FPV. Very nicely done, actually. Very smooth, very gentle. That you can do the weird things. So, okay, going up again. We still got 3.4 volts. Going up again. Let's see if I can do something else. I can. Double roll. So fun little flyer. Okay, we're getting low on voltage here. I'm starting to see those voltage warnings. I'm going to call it quits here because I think we got enough flight to show what this can do. But again, let me bring it in. See if I can get it on that pad this time. Flying in acro. Can I get it on the pad in acro? I think I can actually. Close. Close enough. Okay, so my thoughts on this thing. This little 2S, actually tiny 88 millimeter 2S flyer is good for new FPV pilots wanting to learn FPV acro. This would be an excellent choice. Very sturdy, very tough, and also its PIDs are nice and stable in acro. You know, you don't have super high rates. You're not going to have a twitchy bird. In other words, this will be nice to learn acro with, especially if you go outdoors and if you've got a nice field to learn it outdoors. This is still a good outdoor flyer, even though that the angle of that camera is not very high. So, hope you enjoyed this flight. This is Quadcopter 101, again with the LDARC, formerly known as Kingkong, tiny GT8, signing out. Hi, Quadcopter 101 here again. Hey, if you want to get your own shout out in one of my future videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel. It's real simple. Just go to my channel page and click on that subscribe. And also make sure to click that bell button right next to the subscribe button. That way you get notified when I release a brand new video immediately and give you a chance to get that first shout out. So give it a try, folks.